When you graph inequalities, you are going to graph the line first, which you already know how to do. In y equals mx plus b, can y'all graph that equation? You have two ways I've taught you, by using your calculator and putting it in your y equals button, yes, or graphing the y-intercept and then rising and running to your next point. You're going to decide which way you like best to do this, either calculator or by hand. Does everybody understand? I'm going to show you both ways. But before we start, we need to talk about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So everybody look at this example. What is different today that we have not done? The sign greater than. So far, we've only graphed equal signs. So everything is a straight line, and then that's it. Are y'all with me? These will be linear. So we will have straight lines, but we are going to shade above or below the line to show. Okay, what I want you to do right now is separate this top section into 4 sections by drawing 3 lines. We are going to talk about how to shade a greater than or less than inequality. If it's greater than, you are going to graph your line, your mx plus b line, with a dashed line. And you would shade for greater than, you would shade above the line. Are y'all good with this? If it's greater than or equal to, what do y'all think would be different? It would be a solid line, still shaded above. If it's less than, what would it look like? A dashed line, and where would I shade? Below. And if it's less than or equal to, it would be what? A solid line, shaded below. Now, the greatest part about this lesson is that your calculator will graph inequalities for you. You just have to know how to tell it to do it. So that's going to be really the new thing today if you're wanting to use your calculator. Okay? But before we start, I want to show y'all this one. Okay? What you need to understand is when you graph inequalities, everything that falls in the shaded area is a solution. So everybody look at this right here. If I had a dot right here, would it be a solution? Why? Because it's in the shaded area. What if it fell on the dashed line? It would not be a solution. What if it fell on the solid line? It would be a solution. Okay, what about this? Would this be a solution? Yes. Would this be a solution? No. Now, what if you don't have a graph to answer that? What if you have a problem like this? It says you have an inequality right here, this inequality, and it wants to know which of these ordered pairs is a solution and which one is not a solution. Who can tell me how we could figure this out without graphing it? Yes, sir. Perfect. He said, I know that this is the x and this is the, and I could plug those in to this equation or inequality, and I could see if it's true or false. If it's true, it is a solution. If it's false, it's not a solution. All right, so let's go do this one. I'm going to go move over here and do it just to have space, okay? So I'm going to say x minus, well, what is x? What is 0 minus 4 times y? What's y? Is it less than or equal to 7? Well, what is 0 minus 0? Is 0 less than or equal to 7? So yes, this would be a solution. Meaning, if I was to graph this and shade, this would fall in the shaded area. Are y'all okay with that? All right, let's go do another one. This is the x, this is the y. So I'm going to plug in 7 for x. So I would say 7 minus 4 times y. Well, what is y? Negative 1. Is it less than or equal to 7? Well, negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. And 7 plus 4 is 11. Is 11 less than or equal to 7? No. So this is no, not a solution. Do y'all understand how this works? All right, let's do one more. Let's go do this one. This is the x, this is the y. I would say, is negative 4 minus 4 times 3 less than or equal to, oh, that's a 7. Well, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12, and negative 4 minus 12 is negative 16. Is negative 16 less than or equal to 7? So yes, this is a solution. So the question said, which of the order pairs is not? So this would be my answer. It is not a solution because it would not fit in the shaded area. Do you have any questions on that? Yes, sir.
Do you have to put if it's a solution?
You would just put yes or no. Yes or no. But for notes, I was just explaining. Okay? Question.
When you're writing it for a graph, either positive or negative, does it always have to be in a positive slope? Or
It can be a negative slope. Okay, now I'm going to teach you how to do this by hand, and then I'm going to teach you how to do it in your calculator. You will already know how to do it by hand, so this is not anything new. Everybody look at the first example. It wants us to graph this inequality. How did we graph if it said y equals 4x minus 3? How would we graph it? With an m and a b. So what's my m, my slope? 4 over 1. What's my b? Negative 3. What does that mean? My first dot is on the y-axis at negative 3. And since the slope is positive, I'm going up and right. So I'd go up 4, right 1. I would now take my straight edge. I would not draw a solid line. What kind of line is this going to be? Dashed, because it's not equal to. So I take my straight edge, and I just do a dashed line with my ruler. Now I shade like this. Which way am I going to shade for greater than? Above. Now, sometimes this can get tricky because you're like, which way is above? Starting at the line, if I start at this line, if I start over here, am I going to go up or down? Down. If I start over here, am I going up or down? Up. So this would be above. Now, what does this mean? This means everything over here is a what? Everything in the shaded area is a solution. And everything over here is what? Not a solution. So what if I asked, is negative 4, 0 a solution? What would your answer be? Negative 4, 0. This is negative 4, 0. Yes. Would 0, negative 8 be a solution? This is 0, negative 8. Would it be a solution? No. Now are y'all ready to learn it in your calculator? Okay, did everybody reset their calculator? 2nd plus 7, 1, 2. Yes or no? Okay. If you have this type of calculator, I don't want you to listen right now. I am going to do it on a school calculator first. So anybody who checked a calculator out from the library, ours are slightly different. Are we understanding? Now, actually, everybody do this part. Everybody do this part. Right now, if I go to y equals, everybody push y equals. Oh, I didn't reset this one. Okay, everybody go to y equals. Right now, this is what your screen should look like. Yes? What do they all say? Y, and they say y equals. But what do I want it to say for this? I want it to say greater than. To do that, there is an app called Inequalities. So I want you to find the app button. Everybody's doing that, even if you have this calculator. Okay, so everybody find apps. Do y'all see it right here? It's like in dark, dark purple, I think. Except if you have my calculator. It's just in white. It says apps. Do you see option 7 says Inequalities? You are going to choose option 7, and it's just going to turn it on for you. And your screen's going to look like mine. Okay. Now I want you to hit the y equals button, and now I'm only talking to the people who have a school calculator. What do y'all see popped up right here? All the different inequality options plus the equal sign. Does everybody see it? Which one do we want for this problem? That's a greater than sign. Okay, so if I want this one, it is F4. How would I access F4? Alpha F4. And look what it did right here. It changed it from equal to greater than. Are y'all with me? Now switch over to my people who have my calculator. I'm going to reset my calculator real quick so that I can look like y'all. I go to apps, just like I already had y'all do, turn on Inequalities. I go to y equals. Yours are not going to pop up down here. You are going to arrow over until that whole thing is highlighted, and you're going to hit enter. This is going to pop up. Do y'all see where it says y equals? Go to that option and scroll until it says greater than. And then hit OK. And it should say y1 is greater than. So does everybody's screen look like this? Now tab over and put in the inequality. What was the inequality? 4x minus 3. Now, I want you to hit graph and look what it did for you. Does it show you the line is dashed? Yes. Does it show you which way to shade? Yes. Where would you get the dots to point, like to plot? You wouldn't get them from this button. Where would you go? To the table. So if I go to second table, it will give me all the points I want to put down on that graph. So will this make this assignment super easy? What's the only thing you're going to have to do before you put it in your y equals button? Change the sign. There's one more thing, and I'll give you all a hint. Look at this one. You're going to have to rearrange it to y equals mx plus b. It will not work, just like it wouldn't when we did just straight linear equation. Make sense? All right, let's do this one. Y'all want to try it in your calculator? All right. So we're going to go to y, but this time we're going to change our sign to what? It was greater than. We need to make it less than. So everybody go change your sign to less than. And I'm putting y is less than 1. Where am I going to get the points to put? The table. So everybody go to the table. We're going to plot some points. Why do all the y's say 1? Because if I change this to y equals 1, it's going to be a straight line passing through the y-axis at 1. So here's all my dots. Now I can look if it's solid or dashed and which way I shade. What would I push to get there?
Second tree.
No, that's how we solve equations. Graph. So is it going to be solid or dashed? Dashed, and which way am I going to shade? Down. Bless you. So I'm going to make a dashed line. Make sure we can clearly see it's dashed. And I'm going to shade below. Questions, comments? What do y'all think? Yes.
Whenever I go to apps on the y equals finances, it says there's no other options.
And you reset your calculator? And that your own personal calculator, it's missing the apps. There's a way you can download them, and I don't know how. But if you YouTube it, you can download them. Honestly, you don't really need this because, like, I can do these. You could do them by hand. But if you want, then you could just check out a calculator from the library. There's also an app on your phone. Let me grab my phone and show y'all. It's called Calculate 84. Do y'all see this right here? It is the TI-84 calculator. And I want to say it does have the apps. Let's see what 7 is. Oh, it does not have that option. There's also a free online graphing calculator online. I'd have to look up the website, but it is a graphing TI-84 Plus calculator if you have like a computer. But your app is just missing, and that's it. And I know there's a way you can download it. I just have to help you figure it out. Okay. All right. Let's do this one. Who can tell me what's the first thing I need to do? Rearrange, but stop. There's something special about inequalities. Does anybody remember what's special? There's a special rule. If I divide by a negative, I have to flip. All right, so let's go rearrange this. What coefficient is in front of this x? 1. How would I move this 1x to the other side? So I have 2y is less than negative 1x plus 0, which I'm not going to write plus 0 because we don't need that. Am I going to flip this inequality sign? What does the rule say? If I divide both sides by a negative, is that a negative? So if the coefficient of y is negative, the sign flips. The coefficient is not negative. I'm going to divide both sides by positive 2. So I have y is less than negative 1/2 x plus 0. Do y'all want to do this one in the calculator or by hand? Calculator? Do it whichever way you want. I'm going to do it by hand. If I did it by hand, what's the y-intercept? 0. And then I would go up 1, left 2. Doing it by hand is faster if you know what you're doing, just so y'all know. If you don't know what you're doing, please use the calculator. Which way would I shade? You know what I'm saying? You don't like, I don't even use the apps. All right, how did y'all do? Good? Everybody good? All right, we're going to do one more on the next page. I want to do this bottom left one. We need to talk about this inequality because it's special. Can anybody look at this inequality and tell me why it's going to be special? Because the coefficient of y is a negative. So when I get rid of that -3, what's going to eventually happen? I'm going to have to flip my sign. So let's go do this together. What coefficient does x have? 1. Do we care about the coefficient of x being positive or negative? No. How do I get rid of a positive 1x? Minus 1x. So I have -3y is greater than -1x minus 1. And right here is where you should realize your sign is going to flip. Because when I get rid of the -3, I just divided both sides by a negative. My sign must reverse. Now, I would not do this one by hand, but you're still good. Because all you need is the points to plot, right? So do I really need the inequalities button to plot points? No, I'm going to go, why would I not do this one by hand? Look at the y-intercept. It's a fraction. That would be really hard to do, right? So I'm going to go to my y equals button just to at least get my points to graph. Now here's a problem for those of you in inequalities. On the school calculator, if your inequalities app is on, your alpha y equals button will not work. But first I need to change my sign to, what is this sign? Less than. So I would need to, oops, not that. Tab over, there we go. I need to change it to less than, which is this one. Here's the problem. Everybody look, if I hit alpha y equals, guess what? It doesn't work. How do you put in a fraction without alpha y equals? With division. Isn't that really just 1 divided by 3? So I would do 1 divided by 3. Make sense? Okay. So I'm going to go in my calculator. It will work. So I need, what is it, less than? Here we go. And I am going to put in 1/3 x plus 1/3. I'm going to go to my table to get the points to plot. Now, would I want to do fractions or decimals? Absolutely not. So I just need whole numbers. Can I graph -1, 0? Yep, so -1, 0. What's the next whole number I can use? 2, 1. What's the next one I can use? 5, 2. Is 3 dots enough? Sure. Okay, would it be a solid dot or dashed? And which way would I shade? Everybody who has a calculator with their apps on should be able to tell me just by hitting graph. Bottom, you're going to shade below. If I hit graph, it's going to show me. Dashed line, shaded below. So do you see what I'm saying? I would just use the calculator to get the points. Okay, when you finish that one, turn the page. We're going to do one of these. What if they give you the graph and they ask you to write the inequality? What 2 things do you need to write an equation? An M? So what do you think I need? An M and a V. What is the y-intercept of this graph? -2. How do I find slope? Rise over run. Here's a dot, here's a dot. What's the rise? 1. What's the run? Is it positive or negative? 1/2. So don't write y equals, just put y, leave it blank, 1/2 x minus 2. We need to know, is it greater than or less than? Which way did they shade? Up. So what is that? Greater than. Now we need to know, is it also equal to? You're looking at, is it solid or dashed? So it's not equal to, so I'm done. Super easy, yes? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you your assignment and go over directions. Let's look at 1 through 15. 1 through 15 says, tell whether the ordered pair is a solution of the inequality. So your answer will be yes or no. Let's do number 1 together. All you're going to do is plug the coordinate in for x and y, and if it's true, you write yes. If it's false, you write no. So I'm going to say, is x plus y less than 3? Well, what is x? Plus, what is y? Is 0 plus 0 less than 3? So yes, this would be a solution. It would be in the shaded area. That's all you're doing for those, yes? 16 through 18, you are going to match this equation, or excuse me, it's not an equation, this inequality with one of the graphs. To do that, do you think you need to rearrange it to y equals mx plus b? And then just match it. First of all, they're all dashed lines. Then you're going to decide, is it shaded up or below? What's the slope? What's the y-intercept? If this one is A, then you would put A right there. And on 19 through 24, the first thing you need to do is rearrange them. And then you can choose how you're going to graph. Either your y equals button, or with your M and your B and then shading. I will be counting it wrong if it's a solid line and you put dashed, or if it's dashed and you put solid. Then you must shade either up or down, and the whole thing has to be correct. Got it? All right, get busy.